The month before my 18th birthday, I was depressed. My depression was coming back. I was crying randomly, random outbursts of just crying, not wanting to get out of bed, not wanting to shower, and I knew my depression was coming back. I set up an appointment a week before my birthday, and I went to that appointment. And she put me back on the medicine I was taking back when I was 13 or 14. I did talk about my mental health from back then and the cause in another video, so please go check that video out. But anyway, so I was just I was sad, and so she put me back on her medicine that I took when I was younger. And instead of getting better, my sadness turned into anger. And I became angry. I was very irritable. Someone could just talk to me and I would bite their head off. It got to the point where, like, one time I was talking and I just got so angry and like scraping my arm with a pen. And I was like drawing on a paper, scribbling on a paper because I was so mad, and it ended up like scraping me and cutting me. I should have went back to the doctor. If something like that happens to you, go to your doctor. Your medicine's probably not right for you, but I didn't. Instead, I just got angrier and angrier and angrier, and I didn't have like violent outbursts. I would just be angry at myself, and um, there was one day where my anger was actually good. I had a really good day, and I spent the day with my mom. We went out to eat together. We had a fun day. We went to the park. It was very fun. I come home, I went to sleep, and it's like the next thing I know, I wake up, and the next thing I remember, I'm at the police car getting arrested, and I get to the hospital, and I start to like remember some things, but I didn't remember much. I remembered being angry, and I remembered like drawing on the wall, I guess. But I didn't remember what I wrote. I didn't remember anything like that. And I just remember like being there, and being angry. And so I was very upset. And so when I got to the hospital, they're like, "What are we here for?" By this time, I already switched to another cop. And so he's like, "I don't know." He looked at his pad. We got me in. Um, I was in a room. A therapist came in. By the way, not gonna lie, I was not a big fan of her. She seemed stuck up. I'm not gonna lie. But she did. She come in. She checked me out. I ended up like breaking my bracelet and setting off the whole hospital. I had like 6 security guards. They eventually admitted me up into the actual floor where I was supposed to be, and then they spent 3 days trying to figure out what triggered my thing, and they finally found what the trigger was. And 3 days later, I'm like, when am I gonna be able to leave? And that's what I told them. They're like, well, you could leave today. And then I'm like, well, I want to go home. I want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore. And there was no TV. There was no sound. So I was literally sleeping with no sound. And I can't sleep like that. And I think when I don't have sound. And so I didn't like it. And so then a doctor's like, well, it typically takes 6 weeks for your medicine to point in. And I'm like, nope, not waiting 6 weeks. However, I got really nervous because that doctor actually scared me. And I ended up missing group because I just couldn't get out of bed. And so they came in, and three of them came in the room, and they all talked to me, and they're like, like, you might relapse. It's okay. A lot of people do end up back here, but it's fine. It's okay. Like, whatever. And like, I'm like, they're like, so do you want to stay? Like, you can stay. Like, I'm like, no, I'm going home. I don't care. And so I was suggested, obviously not really a suggested, but I had to get a therapist, a psychiatrist, whatever. The next day I went in. I was like, I was supposed to do this, and I'm like, I don't know how to do it or what to do. And then they scheduled me in for a whole month later. So I finally got in, and then it was a few months before I got a caseworker, and but during that time I'd have someone who calls and checks in on me, and I also had therapy during the week, and so it was no big deal. And um, I honestly, like, every day I would just be like, I don't see no change. There's no change. Like, no, there's nothing. And it's just, I just didn't notice any change. And then I was sitting in the therapist's office, and I sit there and I made the comment that I was proud of myself. And I really was. And I'm like, I didn't even notice it. And then the therapist was like, my psychiatrist, she was like, I'm proud of you too. And that's when I was like, oh, wait, I said I was proud of I'm actually proud of myself. I've worked so hard. I haven't had a actual episode per se, and I'm doing good. And so it just made me realize, like, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to receive help if it's help that you don't want. It's something that could be good for you, um, and good for those around you. And so I have been officially a year clean of anything in 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. And by the time this video comes out, it will be officially a year. So this is a letter to my miracles that you are all important. We all struggle. However, I am here for you. And if you need someone to talk to, come to me and I'll talk. I love you, miracles, and I hope you have a good day.